Hey, everybody. Welcome to week, I don't even know. I was like 6 or 7, but we are going over chapters 13 and 14. We only have one more time that we get together. But I do love these chapters because it is all about how we can free up our time, which we all need tips on that, and is how we can free up our time so we can have more downtime. So, and we all want that, right? We all want that. So let's dig into chapter 13. I love this formula. We're not going to go through the whole formula. I really hope that y'all did this, because I know when I first started doing it, I was like, okay, let me divide it by what I'm actually making now, but that is not what she wants you to do. She wants you to think really, really big. So my mind was blown when I did this. I was like, oh my gosh, because now, like when I think about things, like I'm over here going, oh my gosh, is that worth it was a lot of money an hour. If y'all want to share, if y'all did this formula and you want to share that in the chat, feel free. I would love to see what y'all come up with, but it makes you think before saying yes to something, before spending time doing things that aren't helping you grow. You're just like, well, if I make $500 an hour, like you really double think about that. Does that make sense? But y'all know what I'm trying to say. But anyway, I do love that formula. I think everybody should do it. Okay, so first you have to manage, okay, sorry, off track, y'all. All right, so first you have to manage your work schedule. Thankfully, we have a business that is flexible, because there's always something, there's always something that's going to come up. Maybe, I don't know, maybe my 17-year-old has a flat tire, or kids, I don't know, y'all, there's all kinds of things that can happen with kids, but maybe you oversleep. Something is always going to come up. So to keep from being reactive, you must plan ahead. And she lists several different tips on what to do. The first one is put everything in one place. Y'all, it has taken me 2 years to finally do this. 2 years. Go ahead and start putting everything in your place. I had a family calendar where I kept up with all of my kids' games, doctor's appointments, all the things. That was always in my purse. And then I had my big planner that kept up with my business and all the things. And it was a lot. I mean, I thought I was organized. I really did. I thought I was, but it helps so much just to have everything in one spot. My newest thing, I think I've showed y'all, is Google Calendar. It is amazing. I love it. I put everything in my work calendar also, but I love putting everything in my Google Calendar on my phone, because it also sends me reminders. Like everything's in there. Brody's camps, their doctor's appointments, vacations, church things, everything. And I get reminders. So y'all try to put everything. No, don't try. Just put everything in one place. The second thing, time block on Sundays. I was so proud because y'all, I do these things. So time block on Sundays. I don't generally work on Sundays unless it's like the last day of the month, but I do prep my week. And she said for at least 15 minutes. It takes me a little bit longer than that. But yeah, you have to go ahead and put in your time block, like the must-dos. For me, that may be, I would block off time maybe 2 nights. And I know this doesn't sound like much, but y'all, I have teenagers and they're hard. 2 nights a week to be sitting at the table with my family. Just time block at least 2 nights a week with my husband, where it's me and him, but just time block the non-negotiables, your IPA. Be really specific and make sure you're putting those first. A third thing is what she said, schedule your IPA. Y'all, it is so easy to work on your business than it is in. I could so go into management mode and work on my team all day, micromanaging all their things, but you have got to pay yourself first. And don't do anything else during that time. So for me, I try to do my IPA in the morning now. I used to do it at 1 o'clock, but what I had found was as things keep coming up, like I just kept putting it off and kept putting it off. like as my team needed me. So now I do my IPA first before anything else. The next thing was, and also like your 3-way calls, your coaching calls, all of that. The fourth thing was communicate to your spouse. I've gotten a whole lot better. I used to think Shane could read my mind, but he can't. So you have to tell him. Like this week, I knew that I was going to be working extra. My child is gone. My 13-year-old is camping, y'all, in this heat. And I haven't talked to him all week. And this is not normal. Like, this is as long as I've gone without talking to him. But I knew I was going to be working. I knew I would have a little extra time because between my 13 and my 17-year-old, he's more needy, but he's not here. So I knew I'd be working more. So I told my husband, I know we usually sit down this night, but I really need to work. But this weekend, my whole family will be here. And so I have double booked my work week, and I'm having family time on the weekend. So I've just communicated those things. And like tonight, my husband knew I was going to be working. So he is off with friends at a fish fry. So, I mean, it's just really important for you to communicate that. Like, I also have not planned a vacation for us yet, y'all. And in my brain, like, I just can't even do it right now. So with convention coming up next week, I won't be able to do that. So I've communicated to my husband, if you want to go on a vacation, I'm going to need you to figure this out. And so that is his job. Every night, this is something I started doing before I even read this book again. So I'm so proud. But every night before bed, y'all take 5 minutes to look over your next day. Prep your list of, it's talking about your 5-3-2, which is 5 new people, 3 follow-ups, and then it was connect with 2 people on your team. And I love that. I love the whole, because a lot of times I feel like I just want to connect with 11 people on my team because I have a big team. But I love the 5-3-2 that she talked about. But be proactive, like go ahead and know what your day is going to look like the next day.
Yeah. Oh, I just love those tips. And yes, us Jewels are still working on this, guys. We do not have everything figured out. I'm 4 years in and I'm still figuring things out. So you guys are doing great. But one thing I wanted to say about that, this winning day sheet that many of you are using, this has been an amazing tip. But I'm starting to use, like Terry said, the night before the next day as kind of the start of my day, actually. So it's like I'm prepping and knowing, okay, this is what the day is going to look like. And some of the girls on my team are taking it even further. They're taking this sheet, filling it out the night before. So if they know they have a crazy day the next day, that all they have to do is go to the names in here. They see them, they go do their work, and then they can do a little check mark or highlight it or whatever you want to do to check it off. So they're basically using this as like their planner of what they want to get accomplished. Names are already filled in the night before. And then all they have to do is, if they only have an hour the next day, or they're whatever is, they're heading out of town, they're squeezed for time, they have it all right there. So they don't have to take a whole lot of time prepping ahead of time. All they have to do is go execute and do their work. So maybe that will help you guys.
Yeah, Nicole, that is, you probably have one of the IPA sheets. That's just the newer one that we've started using. So we can drop it and share it somewhere. We'll put it on the post.
Yeah, we can definitely, there's a winning day and a winning week, and they're amazing. Love them. So yeah, get connected with those, you guys. Those will help you a lot this summer with your goals. All right. So then she talked about your stop doing list. And honestly, I have not put a lot of thought into this concept until this book, but often our stop doing list is more important than our to-do list. So maybe you're struggling to find time with your IPA. You're just not able to get out all the messages and follow-ups you want to send out, even though, 80% of our time should be spent on our own work. You're probably doing something else, or you're doing too much of something else that is not as important. So you might want to do a time audit. I know, I don't know who it was, if it was Christina or April had me do this in the beginning, and it really helped to just take 2-3 days. And every time I was doing something, whether it was making my lunch, going to the bathroom, doing my IPA, I was writing it down and how many minutes I spent doing it. And then at the end of the day, or the end of the 2 to 3 days, or if you want to do it for a week, you look and you see exactly oh my gosh, like I didn't even know I had this little bit of time there that I can use, or wow, I can't believe I spent that much time doing that. That needs to stop. Or okay, I actually am spending enough time there. So the time audit is so, so helpful. And you can do this for your personal life, for your business, and then ultimately you're going to be meshing those two, right? Your perfect family week, your perfect plexus week, putting those together and how they work together. So let's see what else. So some ideas, like maybe you guys are finding that you're just doing way too much personal growth and not actually going and getting into action. If you find you're breezing through 3, 4, 5 podcasts in a day, probably doing way too much of that and you need to be doing more action. Or maybe you find you're having so much fun in all the team chats and catching up with people, but you're not actually having productive conversations. It could be social media where you're just scrolling at night and you don't actually have an intention of what you're trying to do on your social media. Or maybe it just finds that you're spending too much time organizing, trying to put calendars together and making all things in your desk clean and perfect when actually that time, remember, you're getting paid $900 or whatever it was an hour. Like you could hire someone else to come and organize for you. You need to work your business. So figure out what maybe you're doing too much of and limit that so that you can have enough time for your business. And then maybe there's some things, you guys, that you feel like these are easy and comfortable and I'm spending way too much time here. You are probably avoiding what is actually important that you need to be doing more of and getting out of your comfort zone. So you probably need to be putting that down on your daily list of what to do. Setting timers has been helpful for me. And I know Rachel Griffin and some other people on April's team really love the timer system, but basically it's, setting down, and this is basically like an power hour, right? If you're getting on a power hour, you have a 60-minute time where you're trying to get the bottom portion of your sheet done. I mean, or, the top portion or whatever it is. You can also say, I'm going to give myself 5 minutes to go and put my post out there. And then I'm going to comment on 3 sideline posts. And that's it. I'm getting off Facebook, because otherwise you could spend 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes getting sucked into it. Right? Anybody else been there? So set a timer and say 5 minutes, I'm going to post and then I'm getting off. So whatever isn't serving you guys, stop spending time there so that you can focus on what is most important. All right, next topic, coaching calls must have a purpose. So coaching calls really, guys, are not a time to be catching up, socializing. These are really a time for you to either get coached and move forward in your own business, or if you're doing it with somebody else on your team, like this time is spent to move obstacles out of the way so that when your person leaves the call, they feel like they know what to do, what they need to go and get in action with so that they can move forward in their business. So what I typically do when I get on a call with somebody is I will spend maybe 2-3 minutes max, like connecting with them, because connection is really important, right? Especially if it's someone that's across state, you don't typically see or meet with, asking questions about their family and their job, but then get right into the meat of the call, focusing on their business. And sometimes it's just figuring out what question can I start with to start the call. And so a lot of times I'll use the phrase, okay, last week we talked about this. How is that going? So you're holding them accountable for their homework, right? Or someone's holding you accountable to your homework. How's that going? It could be, tell me how your business is going this month. Tell me what are your goals yet for this week? So something like that can start the call. Good opening questions. And then from that, that will kind of help you navigate the call. So if they're talking about their mindset and how they're feeling frustrated or defeated, you're going to want to focus on that mindset and figure out, okay, why are they feeling like this? Where is this coming from? Is this a true thought? Is this serving you? Maybe it's a skill set. Maybe they're not sending out their messages or their follow-ups. Why is that? Filling out a coaching form beforehand can be really helpful. I think there was one out there floating around somewhere. Otherwise, I have a copy that you can have your people fill out beforehand. So that can kind of make calls a little bit easier because you can see exactly what they need work on. And then just remember, you guys, that your time is worth a lot. So if you have people coming to you with the same excuses, or they didn't get their homework done, it might be time to pause the calls until they go and do what you told them to go and do. And then just make sure you're treating your business as a business and taking your own time seriously. I think that's it for me.
Yeah, I love those sheets. I just recently started using those sheets that you mentioned, Abby, because a lot of times when you're doing coaching calls, like you're asking the same questions over, which our questions are great. I mean, it's definitely, but I felt like I saved about 20 minutes of, like, they put in the work, and I went and looked through all the questions and I could see where the struggles were. And then I rewrote 5 questions to focus on those areas. Man, it was so much more productive than just asking all the other questions. So we definitely need to share those sheets. Okay, another one of the topics is work with your body, not against it. Y'all, have y'all ever paid attention to when you are more focused, or when you're nicer, or when you're more productive in your day? This is very, very important in your business. You want to set yourself up for a successful day. So if you are not a morning person like me, maybe you're a little grouchy because you haven't had your pink drink just yet. That is probably not the best time to be voice messaging, doing IPA and all that. It's just not. That is why I do not get up all in the morning at 5:30 or 6:30 and do power hours. But it is also hard. I've just found this out because I've been getting up in the mornings and doing my Bible study. And one day, was it Monday? I literally just was like, I kept hitting the snooze. And I was like, I'm just going to roll out of the bed. I'm going to start reading my Bible. Y'all, I had to read the same thing over and over and over so many times because I cannot function the first few minutes. So I have found out the rest of the week, I've been showering, I'll get my coffee. 30 minutes later, then I can go and read the things. And I've also gotten where since I am reading and I'm now focused, I'll go ahead and read the next thing. Like if I'm reading this book we're reading or The Slight Edge, like I go ahead and group those things together because I am focused. So that is really important to know. Like, when are you most creative? When do you have the most energy? Like, just like going to the gym, you don't want to go to the gym. This is why I don't go to the gym at 6 or 7 o'clock, because I'm tired. When are you more focused? When are you more productive? That way you can fit your activities throughout your day to match those times. The next thing is the personal touch doesn't have to be in person. And I got feelings about this, but it is true. Thank goodness we have Zoom. Y'all, I have a big old team. If I had the capacity to spend hours of my day with my team in person, coaching and connecting and hand holding them, all the things, eating lunch with them, I would, because that is what I love. I love people. I love community, but most of the time Zooming's always quicker. And it's usually just as efficient. Don't get me wrong. I think in-person events are very powerful because if it wasn't for me going to an in-person event, I wouldn't have started this business when I did, because that is what pulled me in, because I love people. But let's say you have a new business builder who lives, 2 or 3 hours away, and you don't really know them very well. You're just starting to connect with them. If I were to drive to their house and do a sip and see, first off, they're going to have to clean their house, do all the things, get the snacks. I mean, it's a big deal. And they're great. That's how I grew my business, y'all, doing in-person events. So I'm not knocking this at all. But it's going to be, what does it say to that new business builder? They're going to think, oh my gosh, is this what I'm going to have to start doing? So I totally agree with this book. Show them how simple it is to do this from the comfort of their home in their jammies. That's why I love these messenger chat events. Usually if you get people to a sip and see, they usually do join. You got to get them there. But with these messenger chats, they literally take 20 minutes. And a lot of times they eventually do join. But it also helps you see, like, it helps you to see how serious that this person, your new business builder, they are at building this with you. It takes way less time. It's less energy, less prep, less gas money, since it's $4 or $5 a gallon. It's just less money, but they are usually effective. Same thing with coaching. At the beginning, I am going to be coaching my people on the phone, on Zoom. I do like to meet my people for dinner at least once a month, every other month. But if they are putting in the effort to grow and learn, I'm 100% going to go the extra mile to meet them in person. Like she says in the book, people are busy. And if we can show others that they can build this over Zooms and social media in their pajamas, whatever, that's going to help them see that they can totally fit this in their lifestyle.
Absolutely.
I do love in-person events, y'all. Don't go and say, Terry said we didn't have to do any in-person events. I think they're great, but you can do them great in person. I mean, on Zooms.
You can't get off the in-person.
Oh, no, because I do love them, but y'all, Zoom is amazing. So convenient.
Yes, absolutely. So helpful to be able to do all this on social media, you guys. It truly is a gift. All right, so the next one is don't get distracted. And it was really funny because as I was literally typing up the notes for this section, I was so distracted, you guys. My phone was buzzing. I was so tempted to just, go check that one message, and then I would be on there for an hour. So I literally had to restrain myself, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to set a goal. I said, I looked at the clock and I'm like, I will stay focused on what I'm doing with Bookstudy and preparing for, I think it was 20 minutes. I said, when it hits 8:15, I will close my computer, be done. Whatever I get done with Bookstudy, I'll get done. And then I will go to the next thing or check my phone. It's really hard, you guys, to be disciplined sometimes, but you got to prove to yourself that you can be disciplined, because it's really, really important. So, this reminds me a lot of Atomic Habits and how, sometimes to get through something you don't love to do, or what you don't feel like feels very fun in your business, you have to set up some sort of reward at the end of that activity that you're doing, or at the end of that work session. So for me, it was, okay, stay focused on the reading and the learning, write notes, which I don't not love it, but in the moment, something felt more fun. And so I said, okay, once I get done with this hard thing, then I can reward myself with what I really love to do. So something for you guys to reflect on is, what do you enjoy least in your business and what do you enjoy most in your business? Try pairing those things together. So when you get done with the thing that you like to do least, you can celebrate with that reward of going to do the thing that you love to do most. So back to distractions, find a place where you guys can focus the most. For me, it's here quiet in the basement in my office. I don't always love working here. Sometimes I'm tempted to go up to the living room where it's comfy and, hang out with the husband and maybe the TV's on, but I never get as much done and it's not focused like I would when I'm quiet in my own space. So I would love to hear from you guys in the chat. Where do you guys find that you're able to go and sit and focus on your work the most? Office. We've got a recliner. Okay. My desk in my room. Desk door closed. Yes, the door has to be closed here because otherwise my kids could come running down at any second. Desk in the bedroom. Music helps focus. Yeah, that's interesting. Some people they need the silence. Some people like having that background music. And I've talked about this before. Was it in this book? I don't know. Maybe it was the other book, Atomic Habits, but I think it was, where sometimes I'll have a certain style of music for a certain thing. So if it's, in the morning, I'm starting my day on the right foot with the Bible or the Lord, it's the worship music, right? If I'm sitting down to focus on book study or some sort of training, it might be instrumental music. Having a certain music that you put on for a different activity might help you stay focused. Dining room in silence. Yes, I love all these ideas. So yeah, find what time, like Terry said, what space. that you can focus and get your focus work done. Because remember, your time is worth like $900 an hour.
It's so funny you said that about music, because I do listen to Jesus music in the morning. And then when I'm cleaning, it's just automatic. Like I will jam it out. Like it's like I'm a totally different person. I'm over here listening to Snoop Dogg now because I'm cleaning. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Yep. And then set boundaries with your family, guys, so that they know when and where you're working. So like Terry has to set boundaries with her family so they know when she's sitting down and you're not coming in this house, you're not coming in this kitchen so that I'm distracted by you, right? So communication again. My husband and I try to take Sunday nights to sit down and set up our week together to communicate. I'm not a very good communicator. So that forces me to like, okay, even though it's inside my head or on the calendar, like husband, this is what my plan is, or, what are you wanting to focus on this week? So, anyways, okay. Next one is multiplying your time, which I thought was also an interesting concept. So this is combining activities that can help us achieve our goals without maxing ourselves out. That is the end goal, right? To not get burned out, to reach our goals, to get our things done. So we are not talking multitasking, which I can't do because I don't do things well. We're talking about using multipliers, which is about doing one thing that satisfies multiple goals instead of doing multiple activities at once. So there is a difference there. So for example, this might look like doing personal growth, or maybe you're leaving voice clips while driving. Be careful. Maybe it's doing Audible book or trainings when you're working out on the treadmill, going for a walk. It could be doing a podcast when you shower. I actually do this. It's always Joyce Meyer's podcast while I'm showering. So trying to figure out, okay, I have this time to do something. What can I be doing during that time? And it has to be something that you could do without thinking. Like you could go take a shower without having to put a whole lot of thought into it, right? Or you can go and take a walk without thinking, how do I walk, right? So you're not doing a whole lot of thought. It's taking something that you could do without really thinking and then adding something to it. And then try clustering like activities together. So if you're going to do a welcome call, maybe schedule all of them that night back to back. So when you're in the zone and you're focused, you can do them all in a row instead of going from this to this to this to this. That is going to feel more stressful and probably like you are not feeling like you're accomplishing a whole lot. And then same with coaching calls, back to back. Maybe you're doing all of your IPA activities, pairing it together in a power hour. And then we talked about this already, but time blocking the night before so that you can be more proactive versus reactive with your time.
Yeah, I love that. I do. I like to put my posting and my IPA back to back together, and welcome calls, because you try to do a welcome call in the middle of all the things. It just it throws me off every time. I love stacking them. Okay, so we have freed up some time. Everybody's got free time now, right? So it's time to take care of ourselves in the extra time that we have. So chapter 14, taking care of you along the way. All right, so whatever we put into this business, that is exactly what we are going to get out of it. But if you are not taking care of yourself in the process, then you are going to run yourself ragged and get burnt out. And y'all, then you're not going to have much of yourself to put into your business. And I know this because I have worked like this. I honestly could work my business all day long because I love it so much, but I do not recommend it. Think about the things that make you happy, that are good for your soul, like hanging out with friends and laughing till you pee your pants. Your family, your faith, going to church or spending time with your church family, your health, going on vacations, being away. There will be seasons where you are pouring more into your business or maybe your marriage or your friendships, but there's just no way that you can be great in all the aspects of your life at one time. There's got to be balance. You cannot take care of all the people, all the things, if you are not taking care of yourself first. So I love all of her tips. First one, learn to say no. This was so hard for me, but I'm so good at it now. So good at it now. Practice makes perfect. But I am a yes person. First, I think the most important thing is to know what your priorities are. What are your top priorities? Example, this week, my top priorities were to work my business harder, like I said, because we would be at a convention next week. Plus pack and spend time with my family. And Tuesday, a friend asked me to go hang out with her, lay out with her, all the things. And y'all, I had to tell her no, because that would take me from my priorities, from accomplishing the things that I wanted to accomplish, my priorities for the week. So it would have took away from my family, it would have took away from my business. And it's not like that all the time. Like my priorities each week change, but that was my priorities this week. And that did not line up with my priorities. Another thing, I've said this to y'all before, and y'all gonna think that I have like a total disaster house. I do not, but y'all don't understand. You used to could eat off my floor. I was so, everything had to be in place, like uptight about everything. So I say no to a clean house now all the time. And y'all, I love a clean house. And it's not been clean it's been over a year. I mean, I clean it, but it's like one room's clean, and then the next day another room's clean, and then the room that I cleaned the day before is that mess. So it does get clean, but it's not like super clean. But she says, while you're building your business, say no to anything that isn't your top priority. Y'all, and my clean house is not going to help me go be diamond. It's not going to help me be a better mama. It's not going to help me be a better wife. It's just not. So I've had to learn to say no to my house also. So think about the things you spend a lot of time in. And a lot of times those things don't even matter. If they don't match up with your priorities, then stop doing them or find somebody else to do them for you.
Yes, cleanliness will not get you to heaven, just a FYI. Thank goodness, because you and I, Terry, would never be able to live together. My house is always a mess and a disaster, and my husband is more of the cleanly one, and we always butt heads on it. All right. Number 2 was say yes to help. So you guys, I want you to know it is okay to ask for help. I want you to tell yourself, I can ask for help. I will ask for help. Because the fact is, you guys, at some point in your business, you will have to. Whether it is finding a sitter to watch your kids several hours during the week so you can get work done. Maybe you're finding someone to clean that messy house. Maybe you're having your spouse make dinner twice a week versus you making all 7 meals. We cannot do all the things: mommying, working, cleaning, cooking, shopping, self-care, running a business all the time, or you will absolutely burn out or go crazy. Neither of those is good. So delegation, you guys, really is a beautiful word. It is not a sign of weakness. Actually, it's a sign of intelligence. It's a sign of being a business owner. It's a wise business move. So if you want to build a thriving 6-figure income, and be in Hawaii each year, you guys, which you want to be, you're going to have to choose to delegate. So maybe it's hiring a virtual assistant to take care of some of your work in your business. Maybe it's having someone else pick up your kids and take them to school on school days. Maybe it's sending your youngest to daycare for a few times a week. For me, like, I've had to give a lot of our kids homeschooling to my husband, which a lot of times it kills me inside because I, was a teacher for 9 years. So I love to be in all the things and have my hands in all the subjects and all the teaching. But at the end of the day, I can't. Otherwise, I would have to give up a lot of my business, and I'm not willing to do that. So I've delegated like payroll, tax stuff to the professionals instead of, my normal self I'll figure it out. I'll learn, I'll save money, but I've learned, you guys, time is money. And so I've had to give up some things along the way that I would love to have control over because I love having control. I've had to let go of control. And you guys, just a side note, like asking for help, delegating things, it doesn't say anything bad about your worth or your character. You can send kids to someone else for a few days a week and still be a great mom. You can not cook healthy meals every single night and still be a great mom. You can pay someone else to clean your house and your floors and do your laundry and still be a great mom and wife. So whatever you don't love doing, consider hiring it out.
Yes, definitely. I need to get with you about that tax thing. I need to delegate that for sure. Okay, so another one, say yes to personal development. The end. I mean, you have to. What we do is not easy, y'all. So it is so important to fill your cup every single day, even if it is 10 minutes. 10 minutes is good. Think about when you are listening to a podcast, how great you feel after you listen to it. You will only get so far if you are not growing yourself in this process. Ask Christina. She has said this, so I can say this and share this with y'all, but she was hard-headed. She was so hard-headed about reading a book and focusing on growth and growing herself. I mean, to the point where Christina was Brittany was trying to break up with her. She's like, listen, I've done told you, you have got to do personal growth or you're going to stay where you are all the time. So she picked up a book, and I think it was months, not years, like months later, she hit Sapphire, and then the next month she hit Diamond. So it is so important as leaders to stay inspired, because y'all, it's our job to inspire others. We have to be growing so we can be our best for others. We have to be learning so we can teach others. If you're developing yourself every day, you're being proactive, and you're less likely to be reactive. Y'all know this from the very beginning of working this business. We've said it 1,000 times. This business is 80% mindset, 20% skill set. So be proactive, continue to pour into yourself, whether it's a podcast, whether it's your Bible, whether it's a leadership book. It is so important, I promise you.
Yes, very important. All right, number 4 is say yes to exercise. So we really can't afford not to exercise. You know, we are in the health and wellness industry. And so if we are coaching people to go and take care of their bodies and do the things, we've got to be able to do that ourselves. And so, you know, there are so many benefits to exercising, and she listed many of them, and you can Google it, but, you know, it manages stress levels. That's a huge one for me. It can help you clear your head, keep your heart and body healthy, boost your energy and your mood too. It also can really boost your confidence. And so, you know, sometimes when I'm feeling overwhelmed or I've been sitting at my desk for way too long, I will just go outside for a walk. You know, tonight's a beautiful night for a walk. I could put my shoes on and just do a quick jog around the block. Last night it was storming crazy here in Wisconsin. And I was like, you know, I need exercise. And my kids and husband are like, no, there's going to be a tornado. I'm like, I'm just going to go around the block once. And even just that for like 5, 6, 7 minutes, just one loop around with my shoes running, like that felt good. So make time for yourself and your workouts. Start small. For me, it was dedicating 2 days a week to the gym. And honestly, I still do 2 days a week in the gym, but it's just what works for me right now. So Mondays and Thursdays, like our kids know, Monday, Thursdays, they're going to the gym to play. Husband knows Monday, Thursdays, we're heading out at 3 to go to the gym. So, you know, get your family on board, get your spouse on board, and that accountability can be really helpful too. So if you need to grab a walking buddy, you know, join a Zumba class, something where you have others there to remind you and, you know, keep you accountable with showing up.
Definitely. I have a whole group of people that hold me accountable. If I don't show up to the gym, Delana's like, where are you at? Sometimes I just go just so I don't get a text from her. All right, the next one, say yes to downtime. Y'all, I've said this before, I can work this business all day because a lot of times it does not feel like work. Most of the time it doesn't. The duties of this business though, like they could be never ending. I could always message more people. I could always follow up with more customers. I could always be coaching another one of my leaders. Like there's always something more that I can be doing. But in this business, I mean, in any business, downtime is a must. She says that research shows that it is not the amount of downtime that you need that is so replenishing, but that you actually love what you are doing during that time. So type in the chat some things that you enjoy to do for downtime. because I need some things besides puzzles, even though I love doing puzzles. You know, if I start reading these texts, I'm gonna get off focus. Hold on, I wanna, where'd it
I
go?
can read them.
Okay, good.
Reading, laying out in the pool, playing Candy Crush, walks outside with my family, sitting outside on the porch. Oh, I love that one too. Yard work, outside stuff, sunbathing, quilting, watching TV with my daughter, sitting in my treehouse on the patio, handmade cards. That's cool. Reading for fun, sitting in the woods outside, making soap or jewelry, reading, walks, gardening. You guys have so much value to add to social media. I love all these things. Watching true crime. Oh yeah, I'm right there with you with all of the Law and Order shows. Totally up my alley. Baking, being outside. These are awesome.
Yeah, that's good. So y'all probably saw my post, and I've posted it before, but I do love a puzzle. My husband would come in there, and sometimes I'm like, stop touching my puzzle. Emily had just bought me a new one, so I started putting that together last night, and I threatened my husband. I was like, don't you put this together while I'm gone. But I don't really spend a lot of time doing it. It just helps me to clear my mind. I mean, a lot of times, like even before this call, I went in there and I spent 10 minutes just putting the puzzle together. It just cleared my mind. But I also like playing rummy with my family. We play that a couple days a week. Nintendo, y'all, we are Nintendo people. Any games really, because it just doesn't take much thought, or maybe it takes a different thought. I don't know. It comes more natural. And I think for us, our downtime doesn't really need to include our phone. I really do believe that, because if I get on my phone, I am so prone to get on, like there is no way I could get on Facebook without going and adding new friends, or commenting, liking a sideline, or like, I'm telling you, that all feels like work for me. So my downtime does not include my phone. Like not shopping on my phone. I love to shop, but I used to use shopping on my phone as downtime, but I end up getting back to my work. So I do not include that. So lost my focus because I got off my notes, but we should all be able to have some kind of downtime in our week, and even each day, like even if it's just 20 to 30 minutes each day. We have been learning through this entire book and other trainings how to balance our time with our business better. And if we are doing that, then it should be freeing up more time to be able to have the downtime. So if you feel like you aren't getting any downtime in a single week, write down your priorities. Like Abby said earlier, write down your priorities and maybe start journaling the things that you are spending your time doing, and do those things line up with your priorities. What can you stop doing so you can allow yourself some downtime? Because I've stopped watching Netflix, well, except once a week with my husband, just little things. I don't play Candy Crush anymore. And when you said that, I was like, oh, I love that game. But just little things like that I have had to stop doing.
Yeah, love that. So number 6 is start your day the right way. And this is one that I'm really passionate about, but unfortunately I have not been the most disciplined. So this was a great reminder, but I think it's really important that we have a morning ritual. I think it's really important that we start our day with like purpose and peace. And, for me, it's connecting with God, or even connecting with yourself. And today was one of those crazy mornings where it was my son's birthday. And so he was up early, and that meant I was up early. And from there, it was pure chaos, so it was like, I finally sat down and I'm like, oh, where do I even start? Like, I didn't even start my day the way I like to. But what I typically try to do for me is, wake up and I greet my kids who are watching TV and eating breakfast. Like, that's just what we do. And then, I make my pink drink and head downstairs and sit at my desk. And then I look at my time block that I set out the night before. And then I typically put on worship music kind of to set the mood. And then either I'll spend some time like stretching my body because, back problems, sitting at a desk all day, and, read the Bible a little bit. But, I think for me, it's really important to start my day with inspiration, or, focus and that peace. And then also gratitude plays a huge role, you guys, in how we set up ourselves for success during the day. And so for me, normally when I'm washing my face in the morning, in my head, I'm groggy, I'm tired, and I'm like, ugh. but I'm like thinking of 4 to 5 things that I'm grateful for. And that always shifts my mood and my mindset to just be more intentional of what am I focusing on in my day. So what other ways could you guys kick off your morning on the best foot? I mean, affirmations. It could be a podcast. For me, it's Joyce Meyer's, like I said, you know, in the shower. Maybe it's if you didn't time block your night before, I would suggest you time block right then and there so that you don't just let your day go to chance. You know, maybe it's exercise, yoga, you know, mentally preparing yourself. Maybe it's, you know, I loved how she said, pick one word. That was genius. You know, like as I'm getting out of bed, what do I want to focus on? Is it peace? Is it joy? Is it patience? Is it leadership? Is it servant? And then try not to start your day with your phone, you guys. Some women I know will set their, if they're using their phone as their alarm, they will set it outside their room so that when it goes off, they have to get out of bed to go get the phone, turn it off. And then, you know, I find if I go immediately to my phone, it can cause feelings of anxiousness. It's like my mind is going right to my day instead of to, you know, setting it up in with the Lord or with my priorities rather than just going to my phone. So maybe it means you're leaving your phone in your office or on your kitchen counter and you're having some other alarm, or maybe it's your husband that has the alarm on the phone. So you can be, you know, creative with that.
Yeah, I love that. The next one is unplug, y'all. And I think this is different than downtime. It means completely unplug. Definitely another hard thing for me. And I am working on this because even those times when I'm over here watching a movie with my husband, like my phone is right over there and I can hear it. So I'm not really unplugged. But newsflash, big newsflash, y'all. There is no such thing as a plexus emergency. That was something Christina told me from the very beginning. I'm like, what? What do you mean? What if somebody wants to sign up? Well, guess what? They're going to want to sign up 2 days later. And if not, you just put them back in your follow-up list. It's going to be all right. But you do not have to have your phone 24/7, 365 days a week. Take time to unplug. And I'm preaching to myself. Unplug completely from social media, completely from your phone. Y'all, this is hard for me to say it, but even from your team, I said it, and it's okay. This allows you to be more present in the other areas of your life. Think about, and I hope y'all have done this. If you haven't, go do it. But have y'all ever been on a trip away from your kids where you got, or even your husband, where you got to not be a mom for a few days or not be a wife? If you haven't, go do that. It's the best thing ever, even if it's like a day. That is unplugging. That's you unplugging from being a mom. That's you unplugging from being a wife. And every time I come back from a trip like that, y'all, it's like a fresh start. I'm a better wife. I'm a better mama because of it. So it's the same thing with your business. You can unplug a few hours a week, or maybe even a weekend each month. Either way, and you won't all the time. Like, you're not going to see me unplug the last week of the month. You're just not, because that's magic week. But make it a priority. I guarantee you, you will start back more productive and ready to work. And your team's going to be fine. And it's going to empower them, because a lot of times, you know, they're constantly, like, of course, asking you questions, which is what I love. But if they know that you took the weekend off, they're going to go find the answer themselves. And then it's also going to show them, like, it's okay for them to unplug some too. And like she said in the book, our kids need to see us step away from our business and phone. How can we expect them to put theirs down if we aren't willing? And y'all, my kids will call me out. If I bring my phone to the table, Mom, you're not supposed to have your phone at the table. And I'm like, what? My team, I'm talking to them. So I get called out all the time. So like I said, work in progress.
Yes. Yeah. For the first few years of my business, I worked 24/7, 365. And then I burnt out. I learned it the hard way. And so now I'm really, when I'm, bringing on a new worker or leader, I'm really upfront and trying to help them get to setting boundaries. And when can you put your phone down? Because I fought it for a really, really long time. And then I started taking Sundays off when I hit about Emerald, and I hated it at first. And now I'm like, I look forward to it because I need that total unplug time. I need that time of not worrying about I'm gonna tip over my cup, you guys. I'm getting excited over here. I love my Sundays, but I don't know what I was saying. I look forward to it because I need less brain space. Like I need less brain time on my business because then I show up on Monday refreshed and excited and ready to start a new week. So, I mean, and that gives me time to clean my house a little bit, do the groceries, all the mom things, and be more present with my kids. Okay, we are almost done here. Number 8, celebrate the little victories. So for 3s on the Enneagram, the achiever, guys, this one is real hard. But it's really important, you guys. The end goal here isn't just to work until diamond, and then you arrive and you can celebrate. No, it's to enjoy the process, you guys, the journey, to enjoy each little stepping stone, on the step as you cross the river to your next rank or to, diamond. Stepping stones could represent the next rank or the goals that you're setting and meeting. So start rewarding yourself, you guys, for the activity, not necessarily the outcome, hitting the goal. So what are some little wins that we could be celebrating? It could be you're celebrating that you sent a scary message to a prospect. It could be, I did a welcome call and I asked the question. It could be meeting up with a prospect for coffee in person. Maybe it's getting on the 5 a.m. power hour. Maybe it's meeting your goal of messaging 5 new people every single day this week. Maybe it's you had a tough love conversation with a worker or your coach and you survived. It could be that you did your first live, you helped the level 1 go silver, you stuck to your time block, you read a chapter in your book and took notes on it. I mean, these could all be little wins, right? So, some days will be really hard in our business. That's just inevitable. And so, running a business is not an easy task in any sense. So focusing on the wins, you guys, is definitely a smart use of our time and our brain space, and then teaching your people to do the same. So as you're on this journey, be kind to yourself, be patient, yet still attack your day with commitment and excitement. I loved that. Phrases like, I should be further than I am right now, or I'm just not good at this, or beating yourself up for a mistake you made last month. There's that cup again. Not getting everything
jumped out at you.
Yeah, reflexes. Oh my gosh. Not getting everything done on your list, like punishing yourself for those things is not going to move you forward in your business. Remember, what you focus on expands. So if you're focusing on what you are doing well and what you are doing good and where your strengths are in those wins, that's going to keep you moving forward in the direction you want to go.
Yes, I love all those phrases, which takes us to the very last one, y'all. And it's so important. All of these are, but be kind to yourself. Give yourself grace, because there are going to be more crazy days than perfect days. Like, really. This is a learn as you go business, and it's not easy. Simple, but it's not easy. It's failing forward over and over and just getting back up and doing it again, but learning in the process. I do believe that the more you fail and grow from that, the closer you are going to be to having those good days. But I mean, they're not going to be perfect days. So on the days that things don't go like you want them to go, give yourself some grace and thank God that we got another day tomorrow to do it again, and just learn from what didn't go well. I think time blocking is a huge, huge thing that has changed my business. So make yourself a priority, y'all, seriously, and just give yourself grace when things don't go exactly the way you want them to. Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to say to that, Abby?
No, I think, we didn't really give you guys a homework assignment, but I do think it's really important to spend time reflecting on these, going through these 9 things and figuring out, which one can I improve in? Which one really was like a gut punch, like, oh, I need to do that more, or I need to do less of that one. And so maybe choosing 1 or 2 of these and really focusing on those here, the next few days, weeks, this month, this summer, is going to help you. When you can identify your weaknesses and then choose to work on it and intentionally work on it, it's going to become more of a strength, or it's going to help you be more successful in your business. So I guess if you guys want some homework, that's where I would plug in a little bit.
Absolutely. So I'm plugging into the unplugging
There you
for
go.
sure. Because I read it and I was like, oh, like, does she mean like completely unplug? Like, but I mean, even Christina, it's probably been about a month or so ago, she unplugged from social media for the whole weekend. I was very impressed. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that. Not this weekend, but I'm gonna do it.
Yes. And I think if we're going to be vulnerable here, I think mine is saying yes to personal development. I've always struggled like Christina, but for me, I realize the importance of it. It's just, it always gets moved to the end of my list because
Yeah.
it's hard to sit down and open a book and read. And I don't know why it's so hard, but you guys, I'm still work in progress. So working on getting that podcast, that book, those 10 pages, like Brittany Howard says, if you can read 10 pages a day of a book, you're going to read like, I think it's 10 to 12 full books in a year. And just imagine how much knowledge you'll be able to obtain and how much you'll be able to grow in a year's time.
Yeah.
Mm.
Abby, what I did, because I felt the same way. So I would read like every other day and then listen to some kind of personal development podcast, like in my car. It almost felt like I was taking a day off from reading, but I was still learning something. And then now I read every day now, but that's how I don't know. That helped me a ton.
Yeah. Well, maybe I need to join you for your power hour and I can, we can read together.
Yeah. All right, y'all, 9:59. And we have one more. You want to stop the recording?